we always end up friends with the exes because it's more of like a friendship. You're like, but I've lost you as a friend.
Everyone apart from this one.
Everyone's friends with the exes apart from me. I don't think I'm friends with anyone.
No, I'm one of those people that's like, just because we've stopped having sexual relations does not mean that you're not a cool person.
Exactly.
Unless it ended up really, really bad, and if like I calculated something so quickly there. But if my partner's like, yo, this person makes me feel uncomfortable, and like they actually still want you, then we can talk about it and discuss a way forward. But like in most of the time, I'm just like, it shouldn't just end because it's not a vibe anymore.
That is true, but the problem with me is that I'm a Libra and they always end up hating me at the end.
Hello guys, and welcome to episode 168 of the Tutus podcast. I am Nana.
And I'm Ro.
And together we are Tutu. We've got a special guest in the building all the way from South Africa. Wow. Welcome to the show, Andee.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to have you.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Because I've stalked your Instagram a few times.
I stalked yours. Guys.
Yes.
I mean, you popped up on my feed like I think 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Because I follow a lot of like queer stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this feels a little interesting. And then I just started following.
That was the feeling.
Exactly.
I'm glad. Now, we've never been to South Africa before. Cool. We wanted to go like a few years ago because we went to Ghana in 2018 for like Christmas time, Dirty December.
Yes.
And now that's gotten a bit boring now. Everybody's
really? I haven't been.
You need to go then.
Haven't been.
Do you know what? I wouldn't say that it's boring. It's oversaturated. Do you know, like, everyone is going now.
Going there,
and I feel like South Africa is good. Everyone's doing that too.
Everyone's starting.
Yeah, everyone
is true. But there's like a month that I think everyone's missing, which is like January, February, because that's the peak of summer. It's still a bit weird. It's in December. So it's hot as hell.
Yeah.
But like, that for me, Jan and Feb, that's like, I mean, December will always be like silly season anyway. Yeah. So
how
definitely.
Hot does it get?
Yeah, it's hot. Like, it's hot. Maybe like Durban maybe it hits like 36 degrees, 38.
Can you imagine? So right now you're suffering.
Yo, it was so hot. And then I got here and I was like, ooh,
so cold.
I need to go buy a jacket.
Yeah. Is it your first time here?
It is.
Oh,
it
wow.
is.
How are you finding it?
It's been very interesting just in terms of like, it's just been an internal, look at me being a chakrahan, but it's been an internal journey right now. Also because it's cold. So I'm just walking and like just trying to meet as many people as I can, connect, because that's what this is all about. Right. And like also just like having systems where we can all, like if you want to travel to South Africa, at least you've got, like you're like, okay, Andee, we're here now. Where do we stay? What do we do? Who are our mates? Because it's hard to get that community when you're traveling.
Yeah, so is it a solo? You're not solo?
No, I'm with my partner, but she's busy at an art residency the whole time.
Hey, artsy couple.
Did you guys like plan the trip before, or did you like leave room for like spontaneous things?
Oh my God. When I tell you we bought a flight 2 days before we were supposed to be here. So it was really bad. And then I'm usually not a planner. She's more of a planner, but she's already got a schedule. So it was like, look, I'm gonna just wake up and see how I feel and like do that. Also, I've learned like, I was gonna say it in Zulu, but which means like you're not gonna finish your place. Like, to be fair, like you can try your best, but like unless you're living here for a good couple of years, you're not gonna do everything. Right. You're gonna exhaust yourself, and that's not my journey because I still have to go back to work.
That's what I always say. Whatever place it is always there. It's always like there. I went to New York and I didn't do everything I wanted to do, but I was like, New York is always there. I'm gonna go back.
New York.
What's it like being with someone who is super like organized and makes like lists and all of that stuff, and then you're the opposite kind of. What's that like?
She is a list girl, but like in terms of time, she's bad with time.
Oh, okay, that's
like
then.
Forever late, but a list. She has a list for everything, like home stuff. if she has to do things for you, she'll be
Yeah.
like, this is what I need to do. Buy a gift,
Right.
buy a candle. She's got lists.
We love
She's
it.
one of those.
We love a list.
Which is cool. It's organized. It's not my list is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I need to write stuff down. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I always need to write
But
stuff down.
doesn't it not make
Yeah, I was gonna ask what this stuff.
does it not make it I'm gonna get to the star signs thing. But before then, does it not make you anxious to see like a list? Because then it's like, oh, I still haven't done this.
Do you know what? Yes, it does sometimes. But do you know what it is? When it's all in the mind, it can be just so cluttered. But when you have it out, like in a list in lines, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna do this. When it's in your head, it's overwhelming. I need to take it out.
That's you.
I know.
That's you. I think it would bring me too much anxiety. If I see like too much on a page, like this,
Right.
I know. No.
Personally, I don't
can't.
look at the list.
Yeah,
Like, I've
Make
made-
them and not look.
I made a list in lockdown. I looked 2 weeks ago. I saw the list and I
what
said,
did you
"Wait,
achieve?
Nothing.
You see? But so, exactly.
I didn't do any of them. Anyway, I've got different goals now. I've got
Yeah,
different goals.
obviously, that's why. How
But
many years ago was that?
It was in 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
But did you know if you write a list in the beginning of a year, like just these are my goals, 3.
Yeah.
Like I've tried to do the whole 10 list, whatever. But if you do like 3 home, 3 personal, 3 friendship, 3 family, 3 partner, 3 career, in that year, you will achieve those things unconsciously, even if you don't go back to them. So yeah,
Let me do
that's what you should try it.
Yeah.
Because
Next
you
month.
do unconsciously, it's in your like
Yeah.
mind. So you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know I need to make a meal.
Yeah.
So
That is my number one.
Make a feel, yes.
That's number 1, 2, and 3 next time.
All of it.
But yes, Auntie, we didn't get into it first. We need to get into what you actually do.
Yeah,
We just went on a
sorry.
tangent.
I know.
okay, so I am an events producer, co-founder and founder of an organization or collective called Other Village People. We host queer events in Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. So we've got 3 events under our brackets. We've got Same Sex Saturday, which is like a bi-monthly queer events, black queer events, predominantly female, femme presenting. The boys don't want to come out.
Why?
The boys don't want to come out to
We
it.
have that as well with our events.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because obviously it's meant to be for everyone, every queer kind of
Exactly.
identifying person. But are all of you some sort of like feminine, not feminine, like just a woman presenting?
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
All,
with,
all of you, all the founders.
no.
There's that.
So we didn't design it that way, firstly. So, sorry, when I created it, it was just supposed to be a space for everyone because I was born in Durban, and in Durban I just felt like there wasn't a space where at the time I was single, and I was like, look, I want to meet someone
Yeah.
for real.
cute, and the place that they took me to meet someone cute, I was like,
It wasn't your space.
my
It wasn't
person,
for you.
my person isn't here. Definitely.
Yeah, we've been there.
So I'm gonna create this space, and then I did, and then in fact in Durban, a lot of people came out. There was general people just coming out, and then when I moved it to Joburg and Cape Town, it did what it needed to do for that community, or those people in that community. So it was like, okay, cool. And then we created Queertopia, which is a festival, 1 year or annual festival, which is taking place in February 2024.
Yeah, I think you guys posted about it. Yeah.
So if you find yourself in SA,
Do you know we need to go on holiday? We need to go on holiday. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's about I'll hook you up with like so many things.
Yeah.
But that is for everyone. So we realized, okay, because Same Sex Saturday is like very like the hands are there.
Yeah.
So let's just leave it.
As it is.
And if it grows and people want to come out and the boys want to look cute and come out, then great. But Queertopia was like, okay, let's really find something that will make this a real umbrella.
Yeah.
And Queertopia is in its 3rd year.
Oh, nice.
It's got a lot of sponsorship. Well, not a lot. It's got like 2 sponsors, and it's doing what it needs to do. It's very different. Same Sex Saturday is more like what you'd imagine the club
Yeah.
of queer looks
Yeah.
like, and then Queertopia is more like live music,
Okay.
and then DJs in between. We've got programs like, you know, we could do the podcast. Look at me writing this thing in, writing this thing in. But it's like that. It's like, so if you say, if you guys were to come to SA, would program so that the master classes and you roll in like just a few people just to chat to during the day before the festival, like music parts actually starts. And then we've got another one, the final one, which is called Grounded. And what we found was that in these party spaces, people are engaging, like, oh, you're cute, but people aren't connecting.
100%,
So we're like, we need to make a space for people to actually talk and to like go through conversations. And the first one we held was really cool. A lot of people cried.
Oh, really?
You know,
So,
was
it like traumas, or was it like
no, not even. I think it was a hike. We went away for the weekend, and like it was 20 people, and it was just like really cool. I think people were just going through a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes it's nice because I went to a retreat called Rejuvenate.
Okay.
And it was like the same, it was quite similar. I went for a hike because like, we stayed somewhere for like 2 or 3 nights. And it was like just black, queer, non-binary and women in that space.
Yeah.
And like everyone, I didn't know anyone when I went. We all connected. Everybody were crying. Some people were texting. And, like, you know, everyone just, it was just nice to be in that era when it was like, where the focus wasn't dancing, alcohol, anything like that. And you were just able to get to know people. And there was space, a safe space to have like meaningful conversations. And I feel like sometimes people get emotional with that because they don't have that outside.
For sure.
And then when it's something that they really wanted, and when you do have it, you kind of you feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But you're overwhelmed with joy.
It's good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
But it's that whole like connection, community thing. Like a lot of people don't have friends.
Yeah.
And like this is the truth. We have acquaintances and people we go and have drinks with.
Yeah.
But like friends are like those people that you're supposed to call when you're in shit.
Yeah.
Or like when you're not in shit and like you want to watch a movie and stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people don't have that, you know? And I
Yeah.
think like that's what that's meant to serve.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
You
because-
literally have an event for everything.
Yeah, you do. Like you actually do.
Everything. There's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Most things. So we talk about this all the time. The fact that we only have parties. Like, we only
You guys run a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We run,
Yes,
we run
I found out
parties.
about it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, we run parties and we do notice that we need to have like more things because it can't just be about going to the club and drinking and dancing and meeting people and for that like romantic relationships and stuff. There have to be more like friendship stuff. People DM us and they're like, we actually got a DM the other day. A girl DM'd on behalf of her ex-girlfriend. She said that her ex-girlfriend hates her and that her ex-girlfriend needs friends basically. So I guess they've broken up and they're not doing very well, and she's trying to get her ex some friends, and she's like, where's the best place to go meet people? And that's hard to answer because
Is that a dilemma? Because we can answer that right now.
I mean, it could be. I mean, she just DM'd us. Do you know what I mean?
I just feel like if your ex hates you, maybe you should leave them alone.
She's trying to, she still said that she still like, cares about her. She's still fond
Yeah,
of
but you
her.
don't want to overstep.
No,
Do you know what I
don't.
mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to overstep because
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
let her find her own friends. Though.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
But also, if you care about someone, it's not that easy because then they're
Yeah,
lonely.
okay.
They're there and you're like, yo, you're lonely.
Yeah.
especially when with women, like when you get into a relationship, you become each other's friends. You know what I mean? Like best friends.
That's so true.
Obviously, when you break up, it's hard. You lost a best friend, and I guess that's what she's trying. She's trying to,
That's why we always end up friends with the exes
After.
because it's more of like a friendship. You're like, but I've lost you as a friend.
everyone apart from this one.
Everyone
Really?
friends with exes apart from me. I don't think I'm friends with anyone.
No, I'm one of those people that's like, just because we've stopped having sexual relations does not mean that you're not a cool person.
Exactly.
Unless it ended up really, really bad, and if like I calculated something so quickly there. But if my partner's like, yo, this person makes me feel uncomfortable and like they actually still want you, then we can talk about it and discuss a way forward. But like in most of the time, I'm just like, it shouldn't just end because it's not a vibe anymore.
That is true, but the problem with me
Yes.
is that I'm a Libra, and they always end up hating me at the end.
You guys are talking about
I don't have any ex. Actually, I've some people that I've dated, and no one that I've actually been in a relationship with do I talk to. But people I dated, I do talk to people that I dated.
Why does it feel like you always have like things lingering or people. I know, and this is because I watched the podcast, and I'm gonna get you guys because you guys were talking about star signs and you're talking about Taurus being like, and I'm like, maybe different countries have different like strong star signs or something.
I mean, it's true because it is about where you're born as well. Star signs. Yeah. It is about where you're like your the whole chart and everything like that. But unfortunately, one of our close friends is a Taurus, so she's also offended.
But she's great.
She's great.
I'm great.
Yeah,
I will speak for myself and say, wow. When I heard it, I was like, where I'm from, Taurus isn't the sign.
I just feel like
Scorpio, yes.
it's
That you can all talk about the Scorpio. Fine.
There we go.
Taurus, leave them alone.
This is the thing. The Taurus that we know that we're very close to is not boring.
They're
Taurus
not,
that we know is funny as
do you
hell.
know why you're not boring? It's because of your chart. It's not the Taurus. It's not the...
She's still saying Taurus not boring.
We don't know. We don't know. All I'm here to do is defend the Taurus out there.
We love a Taurus.
I feel like the Taurus gang they're for it right now because the time people DM'd me saying we're not boring.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Where are you?
And the thing is, when I think about
Taurus
it, I don't know many other. Well, our old friend, the white girl.
Yeah, she was boring though.
She was boring. She was really in the black queer space a lot. That's how we knew her, from the black queer space.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was like one of our close friends. We're not friends with her anymore. But she when we used to go out and she would talk to women, how she would get women was bringing out her Amex.
Okay. It's not even only that. She spoke about herself a lot. She was so self-involved.
Her job. She spoke about her job.
Her job.
Her very corporate job.
Yeah, herself. Everything. It's like she didn't. When you had a conversation with her, it was always about her. It was never about anyone else. And that's exactly how she got girls as well. Like by talking.
But to me, it was, if you're talking about yourself, it's fine. But you're talking about your corporate job all the time. Like, it's like there was nothing to her outside of her job. You know,
I think, to be fair, I think Taurus do get that way if they are obsessed with their jobs. I can find myself drilling about my job because, oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But then the stress of it as well. There's stresses of it. It's like sometimes you just want to be like, can you not talk about work?
Yeah.
But like, because it's here, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't talk about it to flex. If she's talking about it to flex, then
that's the difference.
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But if I'm just talking like, I'm not going to say my boss's name or whoever's name, but I'm just going to be like, when they're stressing me out, I'm like, they're stressing me out.
Yeah, that's
They're stressing
different
me
though.
out.
Like,
I'm stressed.
for her, that was the only thing that was interesting about her job, which wasn't that interesting anyway.
No, I understand because obviously I used to work in the railway and everyone knows I like talking about trains.
But your passion for trains.
But it's not like I'm not flexing. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
So like, but we're still gonna talk about what you do anyway. Like,
Yeah, we still are. We
we still need to talk about it. Like, so even your set this week, how was it? You had
It was really
London.
cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was chilled. I enjoyed the space. I think that it was really nice to be in like a space where there were like queer people and there was music and there was a vibe and there was a sexy vibe. I think that was really, really nice. What I was looking for.
Yeah.
Coming out here and then just connecting. It was really just nice hearing different voices, accents.
Yeah.
A lot of different accents. This is like Johannesburg. Like everyone comes from everywhere else, and then
it's come to settle in. That's
but I also didn't realize there's a lot of like Caucasian people in London.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it was like, there's a lot of white people here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of white people in SA as well, but like I didn't realize like in the days I've been here, when I'm walking, I'm like, yo.
I was going to see white people.
Yeah, I was like, I know.
But
in my head, I didn't. When I've pictured like London, that's not what I am. That hasn't been my.
Because it's capital.
You
You expect it to be like a melting pot of culture and different like races and things like that. And compared to the rest of the UK, it is.
Yeah.
But it's still very white in London.
Yeah.
The UK is just a white country. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
And it's so mad because I said it before that when I went to New York, I didn't feel as black as I do here. And I was surprised about how many black people there were in New York.
Say that, yeah.
And I didn't really see that many white people in New York. I was thinking, obviously I saw a few here and there,
Yeah.
but that's what I think that's when you think London will be like that too.
Yeah, I
So-
did. I mean, I've been to New York. I think New York. I love New York. I think I like New York summer.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves New York summer because it's just so beautiful. And I think like my vision of that was like similar. Like I've dated people from London or a person from London, and when they spoke about it, it was just like a different story in my head.
Right.
You know, following people on you know, social media has a way of connecting us to things that we would have never known,
Sure,
to be fair.
Yeah,
And so it's like the new Google. If I want to know things, I can just type queer this and it will pop up. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to get you and it's just going to be blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'm walking and like,
You
spot
see.
the black person.
Yeah. No, the thing is as well, like,
And you're also in Blackfriars.
you are. That's what I'm saying as well.
That's what someone said. They're like, no, you didn't help yourself there.
Yeah, you're in
Blackfriars
like
is,
central.
Yeah, like Blackfriars is where a lot of people go to work.
Yeah,
It's a lot of like corporate
as well.
yeah.
So then you will see a lot of
And
that.
even my last like 9 to 5 job I had was in that area actually. But then you have Elephant and Castle, that's not too far.
Yes.
Which if you go further down, there's quite a lot of black people in like Camberwell and Peckham.
Latinas as well.
And Latinas. And then you have the opposite direction coming into here. Like the opposite direction will be Hackney. And Hackney has changed. I wouldn't say it's as black as it used to be.
Yeah, it's not.
It's very well gentrified now.
Okay. Where do you guys host your events?
Different places.
Yeah.
So we've done an event in central London, London Bridge. Where else have we done?
Oh yeah, Amazing Grace.
Mainly East
Paddington,
London.
mainly East London, but we've
Yeah.
done it in we've done it across everywhere, like Paddington as well. And it's just for us, we have to like find spaces that can accommodate us. And you know, even the last time we held an event, the guy was asking us, like, does our people fight? Do they fight because usually lesbians? They hear that.
Do you get that as well with the venues?
No, we don't. But we've got like systems in place. So we try to kind of tell our bouncers how to handle our people because we do not want that to ever happen.
Yeah.
And we don't want any event association or the venue associated with any form of violence because obviously we try to build a relationship there. But I'm also lucky in the sense of like some of the venues we've worked with, it turns out the person's queer, the owner's queer or whatever. So that's like been great. But no, not a lot of, I mean, we do get fights, couples fights during Groove.
Do you get a lot of couples coming to your events or singles?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. And sometimes people break up.
The parties.
And
It happens. Like I think people do like, I think as humans will be, they'll see people, you know, and be like, I want to chat them up. And then you don't do it in the most consenting manner to your partner. And then, but I think that's just part of like, that's part of nightlife. That's part of Groove. And that's just something that we have to mediate every time. Or if it has happened, we're like, okay, let's not fight.
Yeah,
You guys
we
just
do that too.
stay in that corner. Stay in that corner, you know?
that too. We
the
have
mediation. When you put on events, I don't think I ever anticipated having to mediate in the middle of parties.
Yeah.
And that's not something that ever crossed my mind. I thought maybe the only thing we thought, maybe someone has a fight. Luckily, no one's ever had a fight at our events.
Yeah.
But there have been some close calls.
There have been some close calls where we have to mediate. I remember one of our events, there was a girl who her ex-girlfriend was there with another girl and she was ready to rock. She was ready to fight. And I was like, you are not going to do this here. You absolutely are. It's hard for us to get venues, okay? It's hard for us to get venues in London. So you are not going to do that and tarnish our brand. When we have made a space for you to come and enjoy yourself. You can't do that to us. Like, and you know, we had to separate.
But when people are inebriated as well, it's really hard to talk to a person who's inebriated. It's like talking to
I know.
a fool. You become the fool. You're like, man, you're not hearing me.
Yeah.
And I just think like, I mean, I never thought so too. I think when we started events, we were just like, let's just create a safe space. And then it became, what does safe mean?
Right.
And
That's
then
what I
it
was gonna ask
became
you. What does
like,
it mean?
I think we can only keep spaces safe as far as human beings can, help keep it safe. Like we believe in communal accountability in our events, and we're like we can't do it as like a 2-man team or a 3-man team. We can't do it. But like if people say things, then we're able to assist. And then we also can't change what happens outside of that event. So once you've gone home, I can't assist. Because we're not going to remember who was wearing a green t-shirt and black sneakers.
Even their faces you don't remember sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people. But I think I think it's hard to keep any space like predominantly safe. I think you can try. You can put measures into place as you have bouncers. You put, your friends. You ask them to roam around and do the things, and you get a team. We've got like a mental health team that we work with at the events.
Oh, that's nice.
And so Mindful, shout out to Mindful.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it still doesn't change how people behave. I think that people have to kind of also understand that like, yeah, we're all here for the same thing. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to meet people. We're all here to connect. So you have to do it as well, And it's we always find it so strange because nobody asks that of. There's like a level of like entitlement in queer spaces as well, where people are like, well, now you've created the space, so nothing can happen. Nothing wrong can happen because you've made the safe space and all of these things. And it's like, no, like when you go to an ordinary party,
Something could happen.
Something can happen. And so that's what it's about. But I think we just try our best to ensure that, okay, guys, we're all here for the same thing. So
100%.
Yeah.
So like even going on from that, so I wanted to know what it's like actually being a black queer person in South Africa and presenting the way you do. Like what's that like for you when you walk down the street, for example?
Cool. I think I'm privileged enough to have the life I have, to be fair, because I can walk with my partner and hold hands. When we walk in the city, when we walk to parties, when we're in restaurants, we can make out, we can do these things. But there's certain parts of South Africa where like that's not a thing, or it's an uncomfortable thing.
What parts?
I would say like more township-based areas like that. There's still a lot of like hate crime in those spaces, and there's hate crimes in the city as well. It's just like obviously because I feel like I'm more privileged. There's like I've got friends that can back me up. I've got safety of security, etc. But there's certain places where I don't think like I'm always on the watch out. Even if I go to like a place that's outside of Johannesburg and it's a small town that I don't know, like and my partner's like all lovey and affectionate, I'm like, excuse me, you don't know who's here, like you don't know how they feel about. Can you just and it's so strange. Like the more I do that and protect us, the more she wants affection. She's like a rebel in that regard. I'm like, yo, dude, just chill. Like,
Do you think it's sexy when we're telling her to chill?
like, I'm not trying to get us into, But I think, I think like as far as like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban goes, which is places I frequent a lot, I think like we can walk holding hands. You can just be free and queer. But there's definitely spaces where you always have to like kind of put your guard up and be like, maybe this is not the kind of place,
Because it is legal in South Africa.
It is.
Do you know how long it's been?
I actually don't know how long it's been. I mean, same-sex marriage is also legal there, so yeah, I'm not sure how long it's been, but yeah,
that's good. I mean,
Maybe she was a South African
I
girl.
should know.
Not that I have a wife potential.
well, well, at least you know it's an option.
At least it is, because do you know what? I would love to get married in Africa.
Well,
Okay.
not a lot of
I would
countries.
love to. I mean, obviously in Ghana, that cannot happen.
That cannot happen.
Not a chance.
No.
Yes.
Not a chance.
That cannot happen in Ghana.
At all.
Hopefully one day, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, to be honest. And
I saw something about it. I think it was today. I don't know who it was, but someone from the government was talking about how they're going to uphold the anti-LGBT bill. And someone quote tweeted that, saying that somebody that he slept with his sister-in-law who was 17. So how can he speak? How can he speak about morality? Do you know what I mean? It's just so
How can
backwards.
anyone speak? I'm still like in the tip of like, you are just a human being
so backwards.
that's speaking on people's lives. And it's like, it's so dangerous. It's like, there's certain places in the world that's just, it's like, it's just sad, like to know that you have all of this freedom, but like other people don't. And then like you're scared for those people, like we had it's still going on in Uganda. And like, it's been a rough road. We know people that were there. And it's just been intense. I think it's been an intense year, to be fair, but it's just intense to know there's levels of freedom that people can't live or can't live within yourself and your body and your truth. And I think that's like, there's a level of that's scary. But I've always also been a person who's like, that's not, as much as I can, the world always has this thing of teaching you the violence of being who you are, by showing you like all these. When I grew up, it was like being queer was just horrible. It was like, you're just gonna get raped and you're just gonna be nothing and da da da. And I was like, surely there's another narrative to this. And then I worked for Zanele Moholi, writing poems and like stuff. And I used to write like corrective rape poems or hate crime poems that were predominantly in the mind of someone who's either gone through that experience or, you know, it like just trying to project that.
Right.
And then as I was writing all the time, I was like, actually, this is a scary space for queer people. Like, I don't want to write from a place of my fear, like, and constantly trigger myself all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm no longer writing this. And like, nor do I want a child to grow up and think like, this is it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not it for some people. And like, at least give someone like a glimmer of like life, of like, oh,
100%,
cool.
yeah.
There's two podcasts living their life, you know?
Yeah.
There's us. So I think that's something that you try, but then the world also tries to tarnish that because they pass laws.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how are you passing a law like on my body, on my truth? Like, how are you how are you, man, to tell me this? Like, it's I think that the part of life that's actually scary, that this is like it's all humans.
Yeah, and
like
they
it's
can
not like
control
there's a high power that comes every year and says, "Hi guys, this is the law." No, it's like it's people.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if
people.
you know, Shakespeare once said, "If you shoot, will you not die?" Same
Exactly.
thing. Of like, if you're gonna die,
Yeah,
and you've now passed a law that has changed
Somebody else's.
someone else's life, like,
Not even your own.
to me, that's wild.
It's wicked.
That's the wild part. It's like,
Yeah.
and then you sit there and you're like, do you not ever go to bed and just say,
Are you not ashamed?
yeah, like
do you
does it
actually
not
go to
hit
sleep?
you?
Are you happy going to sleep? No, you've made.
I don't know how
decisions.
people can sleep knowing that they've done this.
Yeah, like
Actually crazy. And there's other things too, you know, like they're just not thinking about the things that they actually need to do. Instead, things that don't matter, like who somebody loves. This is what
That's
you're thinking
so
about.
true.
This
Yeah.
is what is keeping you up at night.
That's true. I mean, the world is occupied with things that we really, like, we shouldn't be worried about. We should be worried about sustainability as well.
Yeah.
Like how to, you know, break borders and like all of that. But like, we're not. As a human being, people are not focused on that.
No.
You know, I think robots are amazing, but we could be focusing on something else.
Yeah.
You know, like AI is cute, but could we not focus on feeding or finding ways? Like my partner was saying the other day, like, surely there's a pill that a person can take and it like has that feeling where you've like eaten, so that you don't feel like
you don't actually have to eat
it's giving you all that nourishment that you
Right.
need, so that
Yeah.
you're not starving. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's actually so true. If they've created AI and robots,
They can do that.
They can do it.
why we don't have the pill? Come
can do it.
on.
They should do it. But
So
maybe it's like it exists somewhere. You never know. We're just not. It's not available to us.
Maybe.
Probably.
Hunger
Maybe. You
Games.
never know. You never know. But is there any? So are there any laws like that are maybe hindering the existence of like maybe like trans people in South Africa? Because I know that here at the moment there's just so much they're trying to do to make trans people's lives very difficult. So like,
Yeah.
what is obviously you can't speak for that
Yeah,
experience,
yeah.
but like you know just observing what they go
You have
through
any
or anything like
friends
that.
or-
yeah, I mean, I've got friends, and I definitely think it's way different and very challenging as a trans person, to be fair, anywhere in the world. I think like from changing, or not changing, but like being who you are, and like going through that process of standing for who you are and maturing to be yourself. I think that's really challenging, from like your name, you know, from your identity,
Yeah.
politics on like documents. I think that changes your whole life in itself. And I think that becomes like a challenging space, but also like the world around you and how, you know, people can make life a living hell. I think like that's definitely the same. I don't know about laws that are within that space. I definitely am not that political, to be fair. I shouldn't try to stay away from these things because, you know, I'm in that world, but I try to look at it very differently, and navigate space very differently, because some of these politics don't help, and we have to think of like how to just make simple life, everyday life more joyful, and I can only change the environment and like around me. So if it's with my friends, that's all I can change. I'm gonna change the world. That's my world. If I'm changing the world, it's this world that is here. Because that's where it starts. And then, it grows and grows and grows. And then other people have thoughts and want to give you ideas, and then you can lead on that. But yeah, I think it's as difficult as just changing your ID.
Yeah.
And I don't think for a person who's never experienced that, I can just imagine. Or just having to like go to therapy to talk about why you want to change, and like
because you have
to
to
find
to
find a justification, or to you have to justify.
You have to justify.
Like I think that's as a person who doesn't know, to be honest, I don't know how I'd feel if I'd have to justify. Because even as a person who's come out, and then like someone asks you like, why do you like girls? And you're like,
people ask you that.
I think they have. I mean, I'm 31 now. I was out when I was like 13, 14. But like people used to ask me all the time, and I'm like, this is a very strange question to ask someone actually, like why? I'm like, I don't know. Like there's a thing inside of me, and you can't even.
This is the thing. No one asks why they're straight as well.
Yeah.
Like if we ask a straight person why they're straight, they'll be puzzled. They'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's also that thing. They'll be like, no, because I am, and that's the thing. It's like, but I am.
Here.
Like I looked at her, and that was it. Like there was a feeling that felt more grounded when I was with women or attracted to women. And I think like that's the thing. It's like it's hard to justify. It's like it's hard to say. It's hard to get into someone's body and actually feel the reason as to why they are the way they are. And I mean, why not? Life is also about like evolution. If you want to like, if you feel different, why not? Why not challenge that feeling? If I used to be, when I was 13, 14, I was like, oh my God, I'm lesbian. And I was like, cool. This was hard. I was like,
Didn't start life.
I was like there. Dreads were long. I was there, and then I was like, maybe I need to like tap into a little bit more femininity, and like the people I dated as well would always like challenge that thing, and I'd be like, okay, cool, let me sit with this. I don't know why I'm so hard, because I'm not. I'm actually a softie, so let's talk about that. Let's walk in that, and I did, and then eventually it also like as I've like grown up, like I've met like I think like last year or something, 2 years ago, last year I met a guy, and I thought he was beautiful as hell, and I was like, oh my God, let me take you out. And he brought out a very masculine energy out of me, and I brought out a very feminine energy out of him, but like my mom would be blown by that. She'd be like, excuse me, you were a lesbian. Now,
I just got understanding this thing.
Yeah,
like to understand
also
this.
like you've made me, like my mom's great in the sense of like you can introduce her to different things, and she's willing to learn on all those things, but like like to level it out, please. Like that would just blow her mind. But like I was also like happy enough to have a partner who was like, oh, that's interesting. Go on that date. I mean, I think for her it was more of she wanted the story. Like, oh, you go on that date. I want to know what's gonna happen, And it was just an interesting thing. I came out that date, and the first thing I said to my partner when I got home was like, oh my God, beards. If you haven't dealt with one, and like I was like, oh yeah, that thing, it's just
people like that.
it's so scratchy.
It looks nice, but to actually kiss that, I don't think
it's very scratchy.
And obviously we've dated men before, but I was young, so they didn't have facial hair. So I always wonder when my friends are like, oh, they like tall guy with the beard. You know when they say that's the kind of look they like? I said, so you put your mouth on their facial hair, and then what happens?
Like what does that feel like? I just
no, I mean I hadn't been on a date with a guy since I was 13 or whatever, like since that time, and it was just like that thing of just changing. Like if we change, like no thing is ever truly set.
It's not fixed.
You know what I mean? Like I am fixed in myself and my exploration of self, and that's all I can control.
100%.
But outside of that, I mean, I have no interest also. Like I can say I have no interest in being straight.
Yeah.
I have no interest. I don't think about it. Like people ask, like, do you not think about them?
No.
I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
I don't think about men like that. I don't think, I actually don't have a lot of them around me all the time too. My world is not consumed by men around me. There's a lot of women around me all the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of queer people around me all the time. There's a lot of trans people around me all the time. But like,
Just not cis men.
Cis men?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you know
No,
what?
not a chance.
There's not that many cis men
Outside
in
of my
life.
colleagues, which
Yeah.
are great, because they're gonna watch
Shout out
this
to
and
the
be like,
colleagues.
"Excuse me, am I not your friend?" I'm like, "Okay, my colleagues are great."
Like we don't have a lot of cis men in our lives either. We have a few, and the ones that we do have we're very close to. But I always say this: there's always a limit of how much conversation I can have with them.
Until we shut down.
Where does it
Until we
end?
shut
Where does
down
it end?
quickly. And it's so funny because we went on, I'm not going to say the podcast we went on, but we went on the podcast. And when I watched myself back on the podcast, I can see in my eyes becoming vacant.
You was bored.
Because I at some point I switched off the conversation.
Went to your thoughts.
I just was, I don't know, I was thinking about food. I don't know what I was thinking about, but I was, and the thing is we're in a room with microphones and cameras, lights, and I switched off.
That's crazy.
And I think because the guys were talking a lot, and I think that I reached my limit. It was a long podcast.
Yeah.
I think I reached my limit, and they're lovely guys. Don't get me wrong. Like when I see them out, it's all love, but
They are
it's just something I've noticed that with cis het men. There's just a limit of the conversation.
Yeah, that's a
I just
limit.
switch off after a while. And I don't know if it's just because they're not usually in my world like that. I don't know if it's because my thoughts are consumed with people in my community. And when I think about care and things like that, I'm thinking about my community, not really them. I don't know if that's the reason why, but it's just...
Maybe we're just not used to it. But even in my exploration of my sexuality, you know, I think it's quite similar to yours where, well, when I came out, I was more so like, yeah, I like women, but now that I've gotten older and now that I'm around a lot more queer men, it's totally different to cis het men. Like I could be attracted to a queer man, but definitely not a cis het man. It would just never happen. It would just never happen. But I just think, the typical, you know, toxic masculinity, like typical man shit, the alpha male, I don't think it exists, but the alpha male bullshit is not attractive in the slightest. It's not attractive.
I get that.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the date then?
Oh, it was a beautiful date.
Yeah.
Beautiful person. Like, yeah, he was amazing. He was sweet. But I also found a lot of things. Like, I was like, he was like, oh my God, no one's ever taken me out. I'm like, why are these gay men not taking you out?
Really?
There's a gay boy. I'm like, dude, why are they? You are gorgeous. Legs for days. Just,
That's
you know.
interesting.
And he's like, no, you know, we just chill in the car. Or like, after hours, like we'll call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I find that really like, yeah. So there's also like, my flex was like, I'm gonna take you out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wine and dine you, babes, because you deserve beautiful things. And it was a beautiful date. Like, we kept in contact. I mean, outside of one date, didn't go.
Didn't go anywhere.
To be fair,
It was a good experience.
yeah, it was just like cool.
Have
Let's
a
go
good
on a
time.
date, and like, you know, he morbid, but like he happened to pass away as well. A couple of months or a year later. I think he passed away last year. And yeah, I think it was just like really sad because I understood what his dreams were. Like he was still in Durban and he wanted to move to Johannesburg, and Joburg's a very like more open life. Like you can be whoever you want to be, babes. You can wear your skirts. You can, you know, where I think sometimes in many ways Durban can still be a limit. Not that you can't live that life, but like there's a lot of people in Joburg living that life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So Joburg's where we're
people
going.
in there's a lot of people in Joburg that are just, they are the weave queens. They are just slaying. They are laying it out. They just, it's great. Like, I think like being yourself is more freeing and like seeing, because when you see people, you're like, oh my God, me too. Now I can go buy that thing or be this person. So I think with that, I was just like, damn, he didn't get to go where he wanted to. Because I met him in Joburg and he lived that life for like a week
So he was on
or
holiday.
2 weeks. And then he was back in Durban. So it was cute though.
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, that's sweet. But you know what? I do feel like as you've gotten older, you're more, and the more you know yourself, you're more open. You're not as rigid. Because I would say that when I first came out, I was doing
I think we all were, hard studs.
you had to be this. I was even a bit of a touch me not as well. I can't believe I was living that life. I was a bit of a touch
I was a touch me not. I was there like, hey. Too much.
Too. Even like taking off my bra, I wouldn't take it off. My sports bra is staying on. I feel like my boxers. I don't think I got naked. I don't think so.
Done.
And I just feel like as I've gotten older and I've been accepting of different parts of who I am and gained my confidence, I'm just open. So I feel like I would go on a date with a man who was like a cute queer man.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't go anywhere. But I'm open to the experience. Do you know what I'm saying? It's for a bit of fun. I'm open to the fun. Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's good to do it as well.
A little flirty here or there.
I do flirt with guys anyway.
Yeah,
I do that.
we all flirt with
Yeah.
guys. They do it to themselves.
I mean, love it.
Like, you know what I mean? Why not? But I think like maturity, vulnerability as well. Like being a touch me now was interesting because it was just like, it was more so for me, it was more so being afraid to be a woman.
Yeah.
It sounds weird because I don't want to be like a man either.
Yeah.
But like it was like I was afraid to be seen as a woman.
Yeah.
In that space, so it was just like, I don't want you to now see me.
That I'm a woman.
Like
yeah.
I know you know.
Yeah.
But like now you're gonna see.
And you feel like that was, were you dating queer women or were you dating people who are bi-curious or straight ones or just everybody?
All of them.
You know, young Queertopia is everybody. You know, I'm one of those like, I don't mind. I think people are people, so I don't have you have to be bi, you have to be straight. You know, not if you're dating a woman or interested in a woman. I don't know if you're that.
Yeah.
You're like, that's how I'm arguing.
That's how
Like,
we see it.
That's how we see it. Some people are just like, you like straight women. But no, if you're dating me, there's something about you that
You're
like
not straight,
women.
honey.
Yeah,
You're not.
exactly.
Like me.
I mean, I've dated women that would have never gone back. They've like, no, it was just you. That was it. And they've never gone back.
Yeah.
But like, I still don't believe like they're like fully.
No, they don't.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like cool, you can identify as straight.
Yeah.
But there'll be a person who will, you know, come and charm you and you'll be like, oh my God, I actually love this. Great, let's see where it goes.
People
That's
are
why
people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that is
yeah, why not?
Yeah, I believe so.
Now the straight men in this that are gonna watch this show are gonna be like,
We can tell.
and you two are not.
Listen, no, because we always say it, and like I think the women that we've been public about when we've dated those women, I would say straight adjacent women.
That's what we call them.
That's what we call them, straight adjacent.
adjacent.
But I mean, the one that I was with that was publicly, she's still in the queer community.
Right.
So, so like maybe she's actually a queer person now. She's a queer person now. But like when we had those women, people were definitely saying, "Oh, you guys just like straight women. Like, why don't you like queer women?" And da da da.
People are people. Yeah, we just love women. It doesn't matter when we see a woman, we don't see straight or queer. We just see a beautiful woman that we're attracted to.
I mean, it's
And we
always
take it from
lovely
there.
when they are queer.
Yeah.
When you find out when you're like, and you're like, you are. Easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
So how long have you and your partner been together?
4 years.
4 years. We love to see.
We always
it.
say once you pass the 2-year mark, you're doing well.
You're doing
because
well.
That's a hard.
Listen, they lied. They lied. They lied. I think relationships are challenging. Like in any sense, there's a time frame of like, oh my God, there were these butterflies, and then the butterflies change into like a reality thing of like choice. And I think that like I love my partner, but I've gone through and still go through so many challenges with her where I'm like, I have to choose you again today.
Yeah, that's
and I'm gonna choose you, but this today is painful. This today is hard, and like, I think there's no like year mark. I think people go, it gets easier after 5 years. It gets easier. 4 years.
it gets
I think in 4 years, this year has been like, wow, babes. Last year was also wow.
Every year there's a wow.
There's a
wow.
moment, but I mean, there's also fun times. There's just amazing fun times. There's vacation times. There's where someone feels like a holiday. Someone feels like a home holiday.
Yeah.
Every single year, and I think like that's why you stay.
That's why you stay do it. But I think, that 2-year thing is like because you're in the honeymoon stage in the beginning and then you get to the real shit. And then if you can work through the real shit, the first real shit, and work and go beyond that, and it's just like, okay, and keep doing that, then we've never made it past
2.5 years.
Really?
2.5 years.
I think people, guys, it's not when I say to you, it is not easy choosing someone every time. Like sometimes you just want to be like, I don't know if ingangam, like you know, God creators and universe and the ancestors said there are things that will come to us that are there are big challenges, and some of them you will go through, and some of them you'll be like, no, this one I can't.
Yeah.
And like I think that also happens in relationships, and some people give up. It's like a level of like, actually, I don't want this. I don't want this challenge.
Right.
And so you just exit. And I think there's people that you meet and you're like, I don't know whether we will get to the other side, but I will keep pushing on.
Right.
You know, as a Taurus. As a Taurus, we've got tenacious energy and non-give up spirit.
Okay.
So I think like that
the good point.
That and like a heavy stubbornness. I think if not for that, like just being like, okay, I really want my partner to live in the truest form of herself. And sometimes the truest form of herself does not choose me. Like, to be honest, some days it's like it's difficult for her to be like, yo, I'm still choosing you, because she's like, I just want to be free. And, you know, I don't understand why we must be tied down to these things. She's a Cancer.
What's that? Of course.
The emotional people.
She's a Cancer. But like, again, you either choose to be like, I don't want to alter that, even if like I have to figure out my groundedness in this. I'm Taurus, grounded, water, sharp. But I gotta figure out like where my standpoint is here, and then watch you flow.
Yeah.
Because I still want to be here. My whole thing about relationship is if I still want to be here, I'm staying.
Yeah.
Until I feel like I don't want to. And if I'm like, okay, no, I've done enough. You know, I don't say I've abused myself enough, but like it's that of like, I think I've done enough, and like it's still not enough.
Yeah.
So
It's time to leave.
it's time to leave. And I think like, in this relationship, 4 years is a very long time, but I've also been on and off with a person like 11 years once upon a time in my life. But but it was on and off.
Yeah, okay.
And it was real on and off. It wasn't like, there was a year where we were like, thanks. And then, you know, I'll dip in or dip out or whatever. Whereas like this, when you get older, there's also like that thing of like, now we live together. Now our families are integrated. Now there's like business together. It's not as easy as like, hey, bye.
Yeah.
It's like, no, listen, we still have to speak to that sponsor because do you want this money? You know. And so there's just a lot at play outside of like the romance and the beauty of it as well. I think like the relationship is beautiful, but it has its moments. And we always watch people and like, how did they just break up? We thought they were fine. And then everyone's like, yeah, you guys are a couple. And we're like, please don't
do that.
Today was not a good day. And you are there just.
Do people do that to you guys? Couple goals?
Of course. They do.
You see the lovely pictures. They
do. And there used to be a lot more pictures. I removed them. I removed some of them on Instagram, and I was like, you know, because I think sometimes we all get invested. We all have our couples. There are certain couples we see on social media, and we're like, oh my God, the chainsaw, they just had a child, and da da da. And we like, but we don't know the intricacies of that relationship. We can only love the representation of the image of it, but we don't know what's actually going on. And like, that's what the relationship is about, or what you guys say to each other in bed, and that nobody has like privy to. It's like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. I definitely have removed my standship from from online relationships. I can appreciate that they look great because I've been in there. I've been there. Yeah, my last relationship, like, we did used to do campaigns together. Oh my God, there's a picture of us in Heathrow Airport. Like, it's still there. It's gonna be there for 3 more years. I always say in this podcast, guys, I don't mind that it's there now. But it is there. Even my cousins came from Ghana last week, and I heard them whispering in the kitchen, saying, "Oh, we saw her picture in the Heathrow Airport." But anyway, and I realized that when things were not working out in that relationship, I considered what other people thought about us breaking up, and I don't ever want to consider that ever again if I'm going to in that situation. Because at the end of the day, those people are not in a bed with us. At the end of the day, when we turn those, do you know what I'm saying? And I think that part of that was me being a bit of a people pleaser as well. And the fact that I was going to let these people, strangers, down because we broke up. I just can't believe it. Now when I think about it, I just can't believe that I considered that.
It's very hard when you're representing a community. Do you know what I mean? Because you feel like you're responsible to kind of uphold this. Oh, look at this couple, because especially if you don't see it enough. So we're living in times where, you know, especially with our generation, I think we're really the first in the UK to be proper like black, queer, and out there. We're doing the campaigns, we're on social media, we're in the media and stuff like that. Like, we're the first to really be doing it. And so there is some pressure to do it well or to do it right. Not that it should be, there shouldn't be, because these people, as you said, they're not with you when you're having fights. They can only see the nice cute pictures on the gram.
They see the cute
pictures on the gram. So I do think that I understand the pressure, but we just need to take that away from us.
We need to take it away.
We need to take it away from us.
When we had broken up, and we got approached by a perfume brand to do a Valentine's.
Get your bag.
And we got the bag.
Yeah, get your bag.
We definitely, and we got approached, but it was Valentine's, so there was a few things that came our way, and the bag was bagging, and we were still in communication. We were still like on good terms. It wasn't like, you know when you just break up, but you're still.
You want to come over?
Yeah. So we were still in that space, and we were hopefully going to get back together eventually. And so we did the campaigns and uploaded them for Valentine's, but it just felt so disingenuous at the same time because we weren't together. Do you know what I'm saying? And we're portraying love. And then her caption, one of the campaigns that we did, her caption was about my hair. Because it was a hair brand, and she didn't have hair; she was bald. But anyway, yeah, and
Keep it natural.
Yeah, it was cool. But her caption was, she was trying not to deceive people that we were still together, but at the same time, while trying to do the campaign as well. And it was just such a mess. It was just a mess. And I'm just never going to be in my relationship. When you see hand, that's what I'm going to put on Instagram from now on. I put hand because I just feel like I've been burnt so much.
But people should also not do that. That whole hand and the side head.
I feel like that's what
it's also just like, I don't just love who you love. If it's out there, put it out. But like, you know, the honesty of it is also like, hey guys, there's also things that you don't see. And if it ends, babes, it ended, like it ended for things that you don't know. We didn't start a YouTube channel together, you know. You guys did the whole like, hi, we're broken up, we're gonna discuss it.
No, they were vlogging. They didn't do like sit down.
It was like vlog. So like, yeah.
But I also think that's okay. Like, people need to understand things happen in life and they change. Like, you don't owe anyone anything that you want to put out there.
Right.
Even though the world like makes you feel bad for like being like, yeah, but you showed us this, so we
you're
like, nah, but but like at the end of the day, it's still my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's done now. Meet my new person. Hello.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it moving.
I say that I'm not going to upload. I'm lying.
Yeah. When you're happily in love.
You want to share that with the world. What I will say, I will be putting it on my stories and it will be finished.
Yes, 24 hours. That's what I do. That's what I do. I walk there. This is our home. In 24 hours, it's done.
Yeah, it's true. I'm good at it because I even talk about people I date on the podcast. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Do people ever try to figure out who they are? They're like,
I went to Thailand with somebody earlier this year, and lots of people tried to figure out who I was with. Some people actually got it.
Did you do the hand thing in Thailand?
No, do you know what? I made it look like I was on a solo trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know when you're videoing and there's clearly someone out of frame?
Because you knew I was by myself.
Yeah, but you can tell.
People asked me if I was on a solo trip. So they must have thought I was on a solo trip. So but obviously I was with somebody, and some people clocked on who it was. They're not somebody who's in the queer community, in the queer scene.
Okay.
So they are queer, but they're just not in the scene. But she has a business. I'm even baiting her out now. She has a business. And so some people follow her business and also follow me. They're like, oh, they just put someone and put two together. And then some people thought it was someone completely different. Some people thought it was somebody from the wrong race. Like, they were just like, they were trying to figure out who it was. And I just thought it was hilarious. Even when I went there, I've got a friend as well. Like, we hang out a lot. She's a femme. A lot of people think we're together. Me and this femme friend, Talia. Everyone thinks me and Talia are together.
Shout Talia. They do, yeah.
We are. Like, it's just. I do like people keep them guessing though. It is quite fun.
I mean, I guess I guess that's the thing. There's a level of like liking the thing, and then there's a level of like, I don't want to give too much. I don't want, but like at the end of the day, it's also like, let's not shift what, because that's what social media does as well. Like there's a level where you start to feel like, am I doing this for them, the world that does not know me, or am I doing it for myself? Because when social media started, it was like, ooh, cute picture of myself, post. Ooh, nice meal, post. Now it's like, it almost feels like I'm curating and telling. So what am I trying to do? What am I, and then we see everyone's life, and then you start to be like, I need to, and you're like, no, actually, we need to just figure this out. I mean, I stopped posting for a long time. I still have, like, I used to have a lot more images on my Instagram, and I took it all down, because then I was like, I'm a DJ and an event producer. I need to start representing this well and curate my page a bit better. It can't just be teeth everywhere, and smile everywhere. That's not a vibe. I'm not gonna get myself booked or work
I hate
through that.
Yes.
So because it's become a portfolio as well. Like when you talk to DJs, photographers, everyone, you're like, oh, you're a photographer. Okay, let me go on your Instagram. If that Instagram does not look popping, we don't trust you as a photographer.
That's true, because people have asked us to do stuff for our events, and I'm like, okay, cool, what's your Instagram? And as soon as I don't see anything, I'm just like, oh no, I don't.
Yeah,
exactly. It's become a portfolio, so it's changed. Like then there's other apps. Be Real. There's this and that and all that.
You know.
No, me neither. I don't know.
I was thinking about downloading Threads. Do you have Threads?
I do have Threads. I just don't
use it.
I am bad on Twitter. I get like a level of like, is it ADHD? Where like when I just can't follow
what's going on.
Like if I was on The Circle, I would be so bad because they talk so quickly. And then you're like, wait, I need to catch this conversation. What? And some people are really great on Twitter. They're like on it. I'm like, are you sitting there every second? Because there's no way after an hour.
To keep up with everything on Twitter, you have to be on it all the time.
Yeah.
And like, do you know Twitter? I feel like Twitter is so toxic. Out of all the apps, I think it's just the most toxic one.
Cesspit.
That's why I was wondering, maybe Threads is a better version.
Maybe, but then I can't be bothered to join.
Yeah, I can't do it.
How many apps you just join?
You just leave it.
Yeah,
I think Twitter is just no, it's too much. And the things that people say, I'm like, then the beauty of Twitter is like, this is the world. These are their thoughts.
Right.
This is the dirty things. These are all the things that these are the human beings that we exist with.
Yeah.
And then Instagram's like, nah,
cute.
these are the people that exist in the world.
And it's a lie because Twitter is real. And it's so crazy because when I read tweets and the disgusting stuff that I read, I'm like, oh my God, we're walking among these people. These people we're walking among.
They're here.
They're right here.
They're the ones that are passing the laws.
Oh God.
They're the ones.
They are.
Yeah.
And on that note,
We have to go, don't we?
we got time. On that note.
So sure. I feel like we could talk forever.
Yeah. So let the people you have coming out, but tell them what you have coming. I know you got a set soon with Nike. I saw that.
Yeah, so we did a thing with Nike.
Oh, is it past already?
Yeah, it's past Nike Ambush. I was just DJing for Nike Ambush, but we've worked with Nike in South Africa. They've sponsored some of our events as well. But we've got Same Sex Saturday, which is happening in New Year's Eve. It's just our New Year's Eve party because why not? And then we've got Queertopia on the 24th and 25th of February. That should be great.
Listen, if I can come, I'm going to come. I'm going to come. When they do the January sale.
Yeah.
We'll have a look. Yeah.
Probably get them now though. Because it's summer. Remember
I've got
the flights, they change.
It's actually true.
You know?
I'm going to put my alert on. Even I've got alerts already for flights. It's come up on my phone.
I mean, this place is more expensive than SA.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. I'm like, how much is that meal?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, it is expensive, but
everyone, please do check out Andee, check out the pages, everything, and also meet us in South Africa because we'll be there. Meet us there. And also, any South African, listeners, I hope you're loving this one. I hope you're loving this one. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you use the hashtag Tutu's Podcast on Twitter. I know we said Twitter was toxic, but just use the hashtag. Rate and view us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Until next week.